williamhillpoker.co.uk. Serious about the game.
Good evening and welcome to Racing Live here on Channel 854, your home for domestic greyhound action 5 nights a week. Now we've got a very, very special evening for you tonight. Now here's what we've got coming up. Just one meeting, Walthamstow 7:45, but as I say, a very special feature as well. And Walthamstow, that's pretty special, 11 opens. Now, you know me, usually I'm of the velvet glove. It's not often I get upset with people, but I have got upset with my guest tonight. Now, he got together on April Fool's Day with the Racing Post. They're as much to blame as he is, and they made an awful joke, a slur about Jim feeding his dogs bananas. And just look at this. This is the consequences of the actions. This is in the national press. Thanks to Jim Reynolds, Britain goes bananas. And furthermore than that, Jim, the guy, it's upstairs, not my idea, but they said, well, we've got to give him a presentation since he's managed to get in the national press. So there you are, Jim. Anyone wants to email us what he can do with that? And I've got a strong suggestion.
Wages, that's the wages. And the bad news is you've got half of it.
Oh dear. But Jim, good to see you.
The $1 million question is will we know how to eat it? Do we know to peel it first?
Oh yeah, we just get Andy down from upstairs.
Oh yeah,
We'll
easy,
do that.
easy.
But it is a cracking night tonight, isn't it?
Yeah, fantastic racing. Absolute top class dogs in show. Stara Drummond, she's my favourite from all of them, so she's been my favourite for a long, long time. So you would travel hundreds of miles to see that kind of quality, and she's not going to have her own way. As a competitive race, you've got the Bubbly Pebbles will be in there, and I know Stevie Fluen will be hoping that it's going to turn the form round for him, but some cracking racing all through the card.
Yeah, it really is. As I say, 11 opens. More from Jim later. Now do check out our website, www.channel854.com. Lots to see and enjoy there, and we'd love you to email us tonight of all night, studio@channel854.com. And remember, you can always text us as well. The text number is 84425. Text dogs, leave a space and stick in the message. 25 pence plus normal network charge. But of course, I say we've got a special feature tonight. Now the derby's just around the corner. We've got a roving young reporter up near Wolverhampton with top trainer Andy Johnson, who's got a live couple of contenders. So I've got to throw over to the decadent Jonathan Hobbs. Good evening.
Thank you very much, Jason. I'm not too sure about the young, but I'm very comfortable, as you can see, on the leather sofa and enjoying myself. I'm hoping for the bottle of beer in, a couple of hours' time anyway. But with me is a gentleman who's going to feature, I think, quite prominently over the next 2 or 3 weeks' time in the lead up to the William Hill Derby, because I think pretty much so the William Hill Derby countdown begins here tonight on Channel 854. We've got the first in a series of interviews leading up to Wimbledon and the, I think, £100,000 Classic. Andy Johnson, I think, followed by Carly Philpott and Charlie Lister. But Andy, the likes of 1 Yard and He Haws Barney, I think people, probably greyhounds that we're all aware of, and have been tremendous for you to bring you into the public consciousness. This year's Derby, live contenders for yourself?
We've got a few entries this year. I would say our main entry would be Bubbly Tojo. With the Champagne Club. We've got Smoking Blues, who I think's yet to be seen at his best. That's owned by Neil Ryan, who owns Erica's Equity. We have Droopy's Orpheus, Forkule Moth, and Like My Trick, as well as a new dog which is coming to the kennel today. Who's,
so I understand, big advert in the Racing Post today, and a certain visitor. Sometime this afternoon, and the deal has been done, I understand. There's a first exclusive of the evening.
Steve Fluen, who obviously bought a major share of Tojo, he's been on about having an interest in Armani for a while. And Armani's owned by Jason Dawkins. So we put an advert in the paper today, and we've had lots and lots of interest. Steve happened to be coming up today, and we done a deal. So he's now called Bubbly Armani.
Bubbly
Armani.
Of course, yeah, and I'm sure the Champagne Club have been delighted with the progress of Bubbly Tojo. So at this stage, would Tojo be the number one for Wimbledon, or?
I think Smoking Blues is my number
Really?
one shot, albeit that he's not as well known as Tojo. He's a very fast away railer.
I think there's been a softly start to his career. Maybe one or two early setbacks, but I've seen him in action a couple of times at Coventry. Been very, very impressed with his early pace, and you clearly think the world of him.
We do. We think he's very good. Don't want to talk him up too much because something will surely go wrong. But I would say he's got Wimbledon written all over him. So we've got our fingers crossed.
And this time of year, you've had your licence out. I understand. We'll talk about this a little bit later. Since the late 70s, which
that's right,
which did surprise me. I have to say, you don't look old enough, Andy.
Well,
but
you can come again.
Thank you very much. No, I just think this time of year for any trainer, it's got to be the most exciting. I know we've got the Scottish Derby final on Saturday, and there's been major events. We've got the Pall Mall, etc. But the Derby is the number one in every trainer's eyes.
Yeah, well, certainly in mine. Problem with the Derby is we all know there's only going to be one winner. But I just think the whole spirit of the competition. We went there last year. We had a couple of entries, and it was fantastic. So this year we've tried to get a few dogs around us that would be capable of running in the Derby, and hopefully we think we've got those. But
and you've had the one early entry, which was Tojo.
Tojo
and
was an early entry.
You could have as many as 7 or 8 come
I think
closing date.
Yeah, that's what we're hoping for.
Exactly. And trial news and race news for Tojo. I've been out of commission for the last 2 or 3 days, and I said to someone, I think 5 days is a long time, maybe in politics, but certainly in greyhound racing. There's things going on left, right and centre. So what's the latest news with Tojo?
He actually picked up an injury in his last race at Coventry. Nothing major, but he just tweaked his shoulder. So he's been on the easy list. But he's coming back into training now. He'll be galloping over the next week or 10 days. He'll have a couple of trials at Wimbledon and then straight to the Derby.
Okay, and the same with Smoking Blues?
Exactly the same. Yeah. Exactly the same.
And with the new dog and the Bubbly Armani, as he'll be known now?
Well, Armani was runner-up in the final of the Irish Cesarovic on Sunday night. He was favourite to win it, and he had a bit of a hard race and actually pulled a nail out of his dew claw. So, again, he's going to be a couple of weeks just settling in. And then he'll go straight into Wimbledon again, but he's had a lot of races.
So he will go straight into trials at Wimbledon. Pretty
straight
much
into trials at Wimbledon, definitely.
For most of the Johnson team. So.
Yeah.
And of those, and we're going to keep with the subject of the Derby, of those that you've seen on your visits around the tracks, at this stage, anything not trained by Andy Johnson that has impressed you? Anything in particular? Fear Me. Mm-hmm.
I think he's the dog everybody's got to beat. I think he's the dog everyone's got to beat.
I'm catching up with all the Scottish Derby news and looking forward to seeing the videos. But they tell me on Tuesday, he's pretty much back to his best, and there's probably more to come as well, don't you think?
Well, I watched him run many times last year at Nottingham, and he really impressed me then. And when he's come back from his layoff, he seems to be cranking up at the right time, and I think he's the one everyone's got to beat at Wimbledon, for sure.
If there's a fiver in Andy Johnson's pocket, it would other than Bubbly Tojo, it would be on Fear Me.
Definitely,
wouldn't it?
definitely. I think he's probably the fastest dog in England at the moment.
Excellent. And thank you very much for allowing us into the comfort of your home. Andy and Helen Johnson have had a team here pretty much, I think, from 2 o'clock this afternoon.
About 2 o'clock, yes.
The coffee's flowed. I think the pizzas have just arrived as well, Jason. I'm not trying to make you too jealous, because I know with my experiences in the studio at 854 that I think there's maybe a couple of cups of tea. Clearly there's one banana between the pair of you, so you just enjoy it, and we're going to get on to a couple of takeaway pizzas and maybe a bottle of beer a little bit later on, of course after 9 o'clock. Jason, back to you.
Thanks for that, Hobbsy. Stop at car crashes, do you? Pretty Andy wasn't on the other night, wasn't it, when Sexy Socks was running? Oh, a pair of corkers there, but great to hear from Andy and, of course, Hobbsy as well. Now, looking forward to tonight's action. Let's kick off with the ever-popular Trap Challenge. We've had a couple of emails in already. Good judges. Greg says hi to you as well, Jim. He's gone for Trap 1, as has Simon Davies. He says Trap 1, tasty price, with 3 being so short at 13 to 8.
I'm going to oppose them tonight. I'm going to go for trap 4, and I've got it as the most winners. I've got it down as 4 winners this evening, but I've also got it down as my nap and my next best as well. So trap 4 for me in the black jackets.
Okay, thanks for that. And just a quick word, going back to what Andy was saying about he said his main contender, Smoking Blues.
Yeah, it's breeding that I know. It was Vinnie Jones's countrywide Tams. It was actually, I think it was either a semi-finalist. It went very, very well in the Derby, maybe semi-finalist or finalist for both Vinnie and I think it was Alan was a partner with them. But a decent bitch, Brebby Tom Cod down in Enniscorthy, breeds good dogs, good farming family, and good coursing dogs as well is the norm for them. It's a strange one. I don't think the form, even though it's been winning races over the 480, which is a Derby distance, I feel that it's still got to come forward some ways for the quality. I think to compete against the Westmead Hawks, the Westmead Joes, and the Fear No Ones, you've got to take the step up. So obviously they're hoping it's going to improve.
Okay, thanks for that. Just to remind you that we're going to be going back throughout the night to Hobbsy and Andy as well, so any questions, please email those in. Now, let's look at our first early prize tonight, and I'm pleased to say that the channel sponsors have priced up every race tonight, so you can get to these by phone and internet. Just to say, Gary from Coventry, you're on trap 1 in the trap challenge as well, and an interesting stat, trap 5 has finished first or second in 15 of the last 30 races at the Stowe, so thanks for that. But Jim, who do you fancy here?
This is probably the toughest race of the evening. You're on basement A9 grade there just now. You've got dogs in dog and trap 6, no race wins in 37. Very, very hard to make a case for that kind of form. You're also dealing with Pin Drop, only having its second ever race round here. One low grade round Sittingbourne in 2004, one over 4 bends and 6 burns round Crayford. Last race win in January. It showed fair pace in its final trial, but I think it really needs to step forward from what it's shown just now. I'm going to go with trap 3, Clombrin Ted from Mick Pusey. It's a son of Ted's Joe Clombrin Lady, Mayo 4 whelp. Gambled down to favourite second time out in an A9 grade, but did it all wrong early and got trouble up round the first 2 bends. Capable of a 5.13 sectional, and he's got to be doing that today. He's got to be getting out and on the bunny, because in trap 2, Not Too Far Girl, is a puppy, has had 2 races, is doing everything wrong early. It is bred to be staying over the 6 bends, and it's very, very strong to the pickup. So if it makes any mistakes early, trap 2 will make it pay off the last 2 bends.
Okay, thanks for that, Jim. That's the opener at the Stowe, the A9. Now we're going to look to our first open race of the night. This is the April Mini Standard, and well, you can see for yourselves, very, very short indeed. Perceptive Pacey, 2's on, Jim.
Well, he was in our kennel, and he was my choice. Whether he's a 1-2 shot or not remains to be seen, and you can understand the reasons for him going that way. He was very, very impressive last time out on the 1st of April when he won round here doing a 25.83, and that is an absolute cracking run. The wee dog's absolutely flying just now for Mick Pusey, bred in McGilly by Anne Michael Fitzgerald, owned by Barbara Milne. I'm sure she'll be at Walthamstow this evening, screaming it on from the restaurant as she always does. But he's a smashing dog, got a smashing record round there, and very hard to oppose this evening.
Now, back on April the 1st, when you did your hideous prank with the racing post, Perceptive Pacey was very, very impressive, winning by 7 3/4 lengths.
Yeah, he's coming out the 6 box in this occasion. As I say, his form's been absolutely cracking. Very rarely out the first 3 in the last month's running. You've got to be on your toes. It's a sharp run up into the first bend. It's a short run up to the first bend, but he was foot perfect. 2.19 sectional. Once he makes the bend, there's no catching him. He stays the 4.75 strong. He is a Derby entrant for Mick, one of the early Derby entrants, and he'll go a long way on this kind of form. If he can maintain this kind of form come Derby time, he'll definitely go through a couple of rounds. A dog that's in form just now. As I say, whether you'd want to back it 1-2 is another matter. Jiving Caribbean is a wee dog. If he returns to the form of last year, would make him a big player. Unfortunately, no race wins in 7 just now, and he is not the force of old.
Okay, here's a question for you, Jim. Thanks for this. This is from Phil Bradley. Now, he says, you feed your dogs bananas. Do you pay peanuts?
We always pay peanuts, well known in the industry for it.
But not dry roasted, not the fancy peanuts, no.
Not the basic. And the unsalted ones are better for you anyway.
Oh, well, there you go. You're doing everybody a favour there. Right, look ahead to our next early prize race at the Stowe. It's the 8:11.